It's officially post-COVID. During COVID, America printed $6.5 trillion of money. Just so you know, 40% of all the money ever printed in America was printed in the last 12 months. Let me say it one more time, please listen. Please listen to what I just said. Nearly 40% of all the money ever printed in America was printed in the last 12 months, 15 months. We've been around since 1770, 245 years. 40%. And you know what's crazy? All this money they printed, let's give stimulus to this, to that person, to this person. You know what happened? No matter who they gave the money to, guess who the money flowed to? To the rich people. The rich got richer, not because they're bad people, because they were ready, because poor people don't know how to manage their money when it comes to them.
You said there's a lot of misinformation and people just aren't educated on money in general when they're growing up, or there's just a lot of information out there.
I think they're miseducated. Is more, it's not a financial illiteracy, it's a financial, it's almost like we've been hypnotized with the wrong set of rules.
So if you could only share pieces of information to your kids or the younger generation, or anyone stuck on hoarding and keeping money, to change the philosophy and mindset around the fear of money.
Well, I think number one is there's a bigger problem with hoarding in this country than there is with spenders. But what we hear is all the spenders
who are getting into debt.
You know, he did this and he's overspending. But really you have more of a hoarding issue than you have a spender issue. It's number one. I think people err more on saving and not knowing how to use money. And so I think people withhold themselves because we're not educated about money. We don't know where it comes from. We have a lot of misinformation about it. Our parents terrified us. You know, money doesn't grow on trees. Save your money, it'll save you. All these things our parents told us because they were enamored or encumbered with the same kind of liabilities around money. Right. I don't know how to get it. I don't know how to keep it. And the worst part that we're all at is I don't know how to invest it.
Yeah.
So what I'll do is some people get good at getting it. Very few actually. Fewer people at keeping it, but probably more than getting it. There's probably a big group in America that have learned how to keep money. And so that's all I had, right? Everybody around me was like, get money.
Keep it.
Keep it. Don't use it, you know, but you should invest, but nobody ever learns that third one. So the CEO of Coca-Cola made $50 million last year. A lot of money, right? Okay, that's earned income. Government's gonna take half of it. Warren Buffett invested in Coca-Cola. He was paid $508 million.
Come on.
Last year. That's passive income.
As a dividend?
Yes.
And he doesn't have to pay tax on it?
You know how many people on the internet want to be the boss?
A lot.
Dude, the boss don't make any money. The investor does. Don't be the boss. Don't be the CEO. There's so much confusion in the marketplace. Be the investor.
Yeah.
Just invest. And what does Warren do? Warren is how I got in real estate. I started buying real estate because I studied the old man.
What do you
The old man, when I would read, well, the old man's only invested in stocks, right? I'm like, I'm not going to do stocks because I don't like them. But what I wanted to learn from Warren Buffett, what was he doing? What was the consistent patterns of what he invested in? All companies that had been around a long time. He did not buy the cheapest company. He didn't buy low and sell high.
What was he doing?
He bought fair value at a fair price. He bought the best quality at a fair price. He didn't look for the lowest price. He wasn't looking for the day a stock went down to $1. He's never done that. He invests in companies that all cash flow, leaders in their space. Coca-Cola, Sea Candies, Apple Computer. He didn't buy Apple Computer for years until he understood that Apple Computer was a cash flow company because of iTunes.
Wow.
That it wasn't a computer company. It was a cash flow generating machine. When I read that, I'm like, dang, dude, everything he buys is really real estate. You see, so I'm like, okay, I cannot buy a big enough position. I'm not rich enough to get a big position at Coca-Cola. I don't get on the inside. I'm a little guy, right? So I'm never going to get access to Wall Street. Goldman Sachs is going to call me and say, hey, we got this deal going, man. It's going to be the next Coca-Cola, right? I'm never going to get that call. So what can I buy? This like Warren. Oh, real estate, man. I can buy the 26 units in San Diego because I know the neighborhood. I grew up there. I can go to the bank. I can get a good loan on it, and it cash flows. And that's how I started buying real estate, because Warren, he bought for the long term. He bought great locations, great properties.
Fair price.
He's never managed anything.
He's not the CEO of the company.
He's not a manager. He's not a CEO. He never gets rid of the employees that are there. And I was like, man, what are you doing, dude? He's not the salesman, but he is a promoter. So when I started watching what his moves, he's on TV all the time. And he takes big positions, giant positions, not little ones. All that changed everything for me. I quit buying this and a little bit here and a little bit there. It's called diversification. I quit doing that when I watched Warren. Warren is not diversified. I think 4 investments gave him 70% of all his returns last year.
Wow.
Yeah. And if he wasn't so rich, he'd probably only own 3 or 4 stocks. But he's got there's so much money now. Elon's another guy, never diversified. PayPal was his only investment. When he sold PayPal, he only has 3 investments today, and no homes, and no cash.
Really?
No cash.
Oh, he doesn't own real estate, or he doesn't own his home?
He doesn't own his homes. He's all in, man.
Yeah.
Invest everything you can in you. Is their personal improvement. You never lose it. The person's personal appreciation will always be bigger than any other asset class.